Good morning, you guys. Today is day 225. It's September 17th, 2023, and it is 9:51 a.m. Mountain Time. All right, let's get started and see what we have in store today with this treadmill. Okay, so today I forgot to write my weight down. It is down to 158. I believe it was, I didn't write it down and it doesn't send to my app anymore. I think it was 0.5 because 0.7 is the lowest I've been all week, right? So I remember it being 0.2 less than my low for the week. Okay, so I've kind of slowed down on losing almost a pound every day. But like I said, at least I'm going down and not up. Like I said, I just so happened to notice that I was a little slimmer, and so I decided to weigh myself, and that was what I weighed. So I'm gonna have to try to remember to write that down because I was supposed to go write it down right after I did it. I think I need to bring my book over to the scale and then write it down as soon as I step off the scale. I'm not willing to pay the $20 a month for the Omada app to keep a health coach. I wasn't really staying in contact with my health coach anyway. And so between that and then the lessons they want you to read, I just simply don't have time. I'm just doing what I can to stay as healthy as I can. So they do have a lot of lessons on there that you can read. Receiving like a discount per month, being that I'm not linked to it from the insurance for free for a year. I mean, that's good, but that $20 a month could be used towards something else. Okay, so it really isn't worth it unless like you're fully just, I don't know what you want to say, like involved with it. If you're talking to your health coach regularly and stuff like that, even if you're not reading the lessons, and it does keep track of like your weight. If you have Sons in Health, it'll transfer that over, or you can put in, not your weight, I'm sorry, your steps. Yeah, your steps. It'll transfer over from the Sons in Health app, or if you have something else that counts your steps, you can go in there and put your steps in and put like what you're eating for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I think they added where you could put snacks and stuff like that. I think your health coach, I don't know if they can see that information. They'll ask you like, how are you doing with your goal and stuff like that, like they interact with you. And the health coach has a set of people, so there is a group that you're in, and there's also, I think, a group chat, but you can personally chat back and forth or send messages to your health coach. So I mean, Omada is really good. I've talked about it before, but like I said, it's not worth $20 a month, at least not to me. I wouldn't utilize it enough. Even at $10 a month, I still wouldn't use it. So yeah. So let's see if we can get up to speed. I was debating on going back up to 2.6, but I mean, this thing acts up a lot more. And you guys, oh my gosh, there's like this awful smell. Like, what is that? That's crazy. Usually after it rains, it smells fresh, but there's something odd in here. I hope something's not like mildew or something. Like I said, I hate being out here in this garage. It's so annoying. So many different smells, and then if I'm fine, then I feel nauseous. I don't know what it is, like what am I inhaling and stuff like that. So yeah, really frustrating. Let's see. Okay, we're at 1.6. I have no clue what this thing is going to do. And every time I look over there, I think you need another bottle, like the oil bottle that's to the right instead of to the left. And then I forget to do a search, walmart.com, maybe see if it's in store. Of course, I'm going to go through Rakuten and Capital One Shopping. Capital One Shopping, when you, how would you say it? Like when you, let's say return an item, it's supposed to deduct the cash back from your account balance. But for some reason, Capital One Shopping doesn't do that until you redeem for an e-gift card. And then they want to say, oh, your account's negative $2 or whatever. And so then you end up hoping that you earn enough to at least break even back to zero. So I don't know, how is it that they don't catch that? They catch it when you redeem it, but they should see that prior. Rakuten will deduct it right away. If you refer a person and for Rakuten and they don't meet the goal, or let's say they bought something that it was thought that was on the list and it wasn't, it'll take away their $30 or $40, whatever the referral credit is, and yours. Now, usually when they make a purchase, for some reason they give you whatever the referral credit is, I guess before it's verified. So if it's not finished going through the verified process, you'll see your referral credit go away. And most likely they've never received theirs. So I don't know what's going on with Rakuten, but I should have like over $200 in referral credits and I don't. I don't know if they changed their system, if they changed what's going on with like how they do things, if they're getting more strict on what's on the list for each store. I don't have a clue what's happening. All I know is that I don't count on the referral credits anymore. I could be with the person, we could go through the steps, they could shop for something in store, we both get the cash back, and the next thing I know, I guess the referral credit, the next thing we know, we both don't have it, and they have to requalify. So, I don't know if I still have the option to be, or whatever their title was, but I think you get $10 less per referral. But at this point, I thought maybe I should sign up for it, so at least I would get something, because I don't want people wasting their time just to have the referral credits taken away. And if they're doing that to me, they're going to do that to that person as well. And they're supposed to be able to earn the referral credits by referring people. So I really wasn't going to bring that up, but it is frustrating because it got up to like 90. It was supposed to be like 120. Like I said, by now it should be over $200, and it's not. It's only calculating what I've been earning, or we've been earning, because actually we share an account. After you refer the person and they get the referral credit, if it sticks and you guys both get to keep your referral credits, if you live in the same house, it really isn't worth having two separate accounts at that point. Just use whichever one you would use the most, unless you want to keep it separate, so they won't say, oh, but it wasn't you. And then you might write them and say, I thought we could use one account. And they might say no. So I don't know. Kind of over it. They were doing well, and now something's going on. So yeah, just thought I'd mention that. Rakuten's not what it used to be. I don't know. Individual purchases, yeah, you'll see that slowly add up. But the referral credits is really where the money was, and it's just not the way it used to be anymore. And I don't think that the person, every single person, just hasn't qualified yet. Like, I don't know if they're giving you the referral credit just because they signed up and like, oh, oops, they haven't made a purchase yet. So we're gonna take your referral credit back in the meantime until they make theirs. I would think that's not what's happening. But if it is, they really need to fix that. And if you get referred, make your purchase within 90 days so that you can see if you and the person are going to get your referral credits and if it's going to stick. Because $30 or $40 a person adds up quick. Okay, I'm talking about, I used that one time for our vacation. It was the spending money for when we went to Vegas. And it was over $200. It would have been more, but they pay every 3 months. So once they pay out, you know, your account goes back down to what it was when they calculated what your pay would be for that third month, or at the end of that 3 months. And then, I might as well mention, since I'm talking about it, your account has to have $5.01 in it in order for them to send you the money, whether you want them to send it to your PayPal or if you want them to send you a paper check, which can take quite some time. So I go for PayPal. I know a lot of people don't like PayPal, but what I do is I don't keep money in the PayPal account. They transfer the money over, I transfer the money out. I don't care if I just earned, let's say, $10 with Rakuten, and let's say 4 of it's gonna stay because the cashback came in after the deadline day, it still doesn't sit in my PayPal account. So yeah, but also this morning I was practicing with my Duolingo, and you guys know I said forget it. I don't want to have to watch ads to earn hearts. The regular Duolingo, you have to have 5 hearts. So those hearts help you with mistakes. So when you make a mistake, they take a heart away. But when you lose the 5th one, if I remember it's 5, not 3, then you have to practice or watch an ad to get a heart back. Now, if you earn past 5, you're not going to get credit for anything past 5. So if you earn like 10 hearts, it's not worth it, because if it works the same as when I was using it, the unpaid version, 5 and that's it. So you just wasted your time. You could have used your practice to gain gems. And I think you still gain the gems, but like I said, the hearts, you really need them, and you just wasted your time to earn them. And it doesn't go into a bank. I think it should, but it doesn't. I think there's like little games or something like that, aside from the lessons, but this is not a game to me. The one thing I regret about trying to learn different languages is that I didn't stick to it, so I didn't become fluent in anything. I'm also getting to the point to where if I tell you I speak a language, there's a possibility I read it better than I can speak it. So I've talked to you guys about that before, being that I'm a slight international traveler, slight. If I go somewhere, if something's written in a different language, I want to at least be able to read it. I mean, you might be looking for a specific landmark or a monument or whatever, museum. And if you can read the stuff, that really helps, right? It is really cool, like if they have some type of translate thing, Google has to translate. There's something else that's supposed to make it a little easier. I don't know if Google came up with it, but you kind of don't have time. Even though the person usually will stand there and wait to listen in their language, like what you said. And then you tell them like, okay, wait, and then you tap it, and then you basically like do a gesture for them to speak. They answer you back, and then it translates back to your language. But that takes time. I mean, it's helpful, very helpful. I'm sure there's a lot of people like, it's been working for me, whatever translating app I use, but if I can translate it myself, I wouldn't need to. I mean, it could be the person understands English, but they don't speak it, and if I understand the language they're speaking, then we can still talk to each other, which is kind of cool. So there's a need for me personally for it. I've been stuck on French for a while. It's been something that I've been practicing, like I've been learning new words. And it kind of counts to give you credit for those, and a little high fives like, oh, you learned 8 new words today or whatever. The numbers I kind of already knew, at least up to 20, but I'm learning like afternoon, night, things like that, and a refresher on certain words that I should know what they mean by now. It's like you hear them often and you just forget, right? Anything past bonjour, right? So I think that, and it's pretty good with the accent thing. It's pretty picky. You get 3 chances to speak whatever it's telling you to say, and you can make it repeat itself, but after the 3rd time, it's like, oh, try again later. And if you're in the unpaid version, those are considered mistakes, I believe, each time. So you could end up trying 3 times to speak something, make 3 mistakes, and lose 3 hearts. So by the time you're at the end of the lesson, you don't have any more hearts left. Now you have to practice. You might have to buy, I don't know if you can buy hearts with gems, I can't remember, but I have the paid version. So I think it's called Super Duolingo now. It was called something else before. It's like $120 a year. And I was like, well, we would have to pay regardless. I can have, I believe, myself and 5 other people. Of course, I have myself, my husband, I have a friend, but I don't think they practice much. So if it came down to it, I wouldn't want to take them off. But if they're not practicing, then I would want to have a slot open. The one thing I was thinking was that I'm not going to tell people like, well, we have to pay for it anyway. I'm really trying to learn. You can learn a lot of different languages on there. I think I'm going to switch to Chinese. I believe it's Mandarin, and someone told me Mandarin's not Chinese, but it classifies it under Chinese on there. And I can tell it's Mandarin because I believe Cantonese is listed separately. And so I don't even know what to call it. I'll just call it Mandarin even though it's listed as that. I really need to get back onto that. And I'm getting to the point to where when I see it, if it's bigger, I can still read it because I'm learning to read it small because it's on the phone. And you would think if you see it bigger, you'd recognize it, but there might be a brush stroke that you miss or something like that when you're trying to read it, and then you don't recognize it when it's bigger. At least that's how it's been for me. But on TV, especially like if it's rolling in the credits, usually it's about the same size where it's small. But I'm trying to be able to identify, I think it's called the character, right? Whether it's big or small. It sounds awkward, sounds weird, but I promise you, once it gets bigger and bigger, it does look a little different. And then the pronunciation is insane, right? One wrong pronunciation, and you're saying something else totally different. So it definitely will probably be a language that I end up learning to read better than speaking and like understanding if someone was talking. So I think what helps is what other words are in the sentence. So yeah, I gotta get back on it. I've been kind of shying away from it, and I'm already at like the hard level. And so I'm like, I really need to learn. $120 a year is not bad, but I mean, if it's getting paid, then I need to practice. And then Spanish, I'll go at it for a while, and then I'll find myself back in French or back in Mandarin. So those three, I think, are really important to really kind of pick up on. Some of them are just becoming easier than others, just at least to understand it. The other thing about Duolingo is that they have it in different voices. So it's not so much even like, oh, male or female. It'll be like, say, the person that talks kind of mumbles when they speak. It's hard to understand them in any language, right? So one of the little characters, she just has kind of this blah attitude, kind of like whatever. And she's like, pum, you know, it's apple, right, in French. And so, what's that called? Monotone. She has no other, like her voice doesn't raise or lift. Monotone, I think, is like one tone, right? And so you laugh kind of, I think her name's Lily on the app. And so Lily just has that like whatever mood all the time. And so some people have a higher pitched voice. So that's another thing. If no one's ever told you, if you're thinking about Duolingo, when you're practicing, whether it's the free or the paid family package or whatever, the tones. And I know you're thinking, well, if you say it differently, it means something different. But I don't mean, like I said, like that. Pretty much what I said, how I explained it is what I mean. The way a person speaks. I don't know really what you would call that. But, and then it has where the person speaking at a regular pace, you know, some languages are fast, right? They're hard to catch. And so you have another little teeny speaker you can tap on the screen for the little character that's on there to say it slow, so that you hear each word pronounced in like all the letters in it, which I like. And then there's their format's a little different because now they've made it where the stories are kind of incorporated into the lessons. And the stories were like, okay, one I think is named Vikram. I can't remember the name of his wife, and they have different little stories. Like, she was tired and lost her keys, but they were still on the table or something like. It would be a little story like that. Or a person went into a store to buy a red dress or coat or hat or something. Before, stories were separate and you could just pick stories. And the more stories you learned, the more stories it would unlock. So I kind of like how it was before, because I believe when I first started in the family package, the paid package, it was like that. Now to get to different levels, like they have like the emerald level, amethyst, ruby levels. You have a demotion zone, which tells you you're not practicing a lot. Then you get in between promotion and demotion, so you won't be demoted, you'll stay like in emerald. But if you're not in the promotional zone, then you won't move on to the next major level or whatever they want to call it. And I still don't know what happens if you get first place in the last one. I can't remember what the last one is. It's not diamond, but whatever it is, platinum. I don't know what happens if you get first place. I thought it'd be kind of cool if you got Duolingo for free for a year. Just some type of incentive, because then what? I've never finished first in the last one. I've come close. So what do you get? What's the big thing? Maybe it's the fact you probably learned about because you've obviously been practicing a lot. There's a lot of you on the page. There's like 30 or 40 people on that page. So they kind of keep you interested. And I have noticed the little tips, it'll have like a little history, like how Duolingo started, what you could learn depending on how often you practice. When they say if you practice 15 minutes a day, you learn a lot, you do. And you find yourself up in the percentile from what they're calculating of the 80 to 90% of people. There are obviously learning more if you're practicing more. And so it tells you like all these little things. You can follow your friends. You can send them little gifts. 2-time boost where whatever points they would learn that lesson, they learn double. And they can send it back to you. You can send a high five. You can do a quest together, which means a certain amount of lessons have to be completed in a certain amount of time, like in a month. And so it'll show you how many lessons you've done, how many lessons they've done, and then it congratulates both of you, and you guys can congratulate each other. Like, yeah, we did this together. So I like how they're making it interactive like that, because the longer you get into it, you may or may not need that interaction or that push, that encouragement, right? But yeah. But also, I have decided that I think if it's a family plan, if someone's on there, they should help us pay for it. I mean, $20 a year, that's kind of giving the person a discount because, like I said, by the time you pay taxes, I think it's like $120. So if it's you, and let's say 4 other people, if you're only collecting $80, you're still eating the other $40. If it's you and 5 other people, then that would be 6 total, right? Here I go with my mental math this morning. That would be $120. If you each pitch in $20, if there can be a total of 6 people. But yeah, so I think it's fair. $20 a year to have access to learn several different languages. I don't know what the max is. I think I have one more square of one more language that I can pick, and I haven't picked it yet. I think you can remove a language, but I don't know what happens. I don't think you lose your gems, but I don't know because I've never done it. I'm just trying to be very careful on the next language I pick just in case I either A, can't add any more, or if I have to take one off to add another language on that I really want to be learning. So I still have a square left with a plus, but I haven't picked. So far, I have Spanish and French, Italian, Mandarin. So yeah, there's 4. And there's a 5th box. Now, I don't know if I pick a 5th language, if a 6th box with a plus will come up so I can have that slot open. I haven't decided yet what I want to do. Do I want to do Arabic? Do I want to do Hebrew? Do I want to do, I don't know what language. Because they have like Vietnamese on there, they have like all these different languages. So I have to pick, but the whole point was for me to get a little bit more universal. Now I know there's so many different languages, just in the world, period, right? So, I mean, learning 4 at a time is hard enough, but some of the words are kind of similar. Like when you get to, let's see, if I were to compare, obviously French and Spanish, the weeks, the days of the week are kind of somewhat similar. I don't think I've gotten far enough to learn the days of the week in Italian yet. Italian is hard. There's that extra, like, the extra sound like at the end. There's like some extra like 4 or 5 letters. So, every language I'm finding, there is something that makes it harder. And then in Mandarin, I mean, you're literally reading it in the characters. And I think I saw, we were watching a video the other day, I believe you actually would read up and down. And when you get to the bottom, you go back up and start going back down. So I asked my husband, I said, well, with the Mandarin that's on here, then why am I learning to read from left to right? And then he made a good point, which is something I should have thought of, but he said, well, I think it's just to get you familiar with the characters. So yeah. And I thought, oh yeah, recognizing the words. And I thought, okay, that makes sense. Because once you learn how to read it and you get better, even if you can't speak that well, you'll recognize it. You'll at least know what it says, right? So I can see how it helps. I think I could switch to the way it's supposed to be read, as long as I recognize what I'm reading. So that's the one thing I have noticed. And you might start off knowing that right away. So yeah. And then Japanese, I'm not sure. Japanese is another language I was thinking about. I only know like a few words. And if it's written in English, whatever I can say in Japanese, then I can read it in English. But in Japanese, no. So I haven't even seen how they do it. That'd be interesting. For the Mandarin, I can't remember if they have it like in Mandarin and then also in English letters, or however you refer to the regular alphabet or whatever. So yeah, and I don't even know what to call it. I want to call it regular, but you guys know what I mean. Basically the letters you read in English. I'll put it that way. Okay, so that's how long it's been since I've studied the Chinese. I don't even remember what I would see. And like I said, I'm learning. Like it's just so easy to say that, but I asked my husband, and I had a person tell me, like, oh, it's not Chinese. So it's listed as that, right? And if you're like me, you probably learned that it was, just to hear later on, no, it's not. So if I'm ever talking about it again, and I say Chinese, I mean Mandarin. And I have to double check because I think I might be wrong. Cantonese might not be on there. But yeah, so if you want to start learning and you're serious about it and you're going to practice, of course I can't tell you how often to practice, but you're serious enough to where you don't want to have to worry about the mistakes that you're making. When you make the mistakes, it gives you tips. It isn't just like, you're wrong, and then you don't even know like what you did wrong. No, it's very specific. Like if you spell a word wrong, sometimes if it's close to it, it'll give it to you, but it'll still show you the correct way to spell the word. But if you're off, like today, I knew I was writing 2 in French, and it wanted me to write 12. And they don't even sound the same when you say them. And so I think it was supposed to be 12 and 13. And I put 2 and 13. I missed the I in 13. But I think if I had got 12 right, instead of putting 2, if I had put 12, then maybe it would have gave me a pass on the fact that I missed that I, possibly. Sometimes it's super strict and it's like, no. So it really forces you to spell them correctly as well, the words. So yeah, Duolingo, and I guess Super Duolingo, because I think it used to be called Duolingo Plus, but Super Duolingo is really good if you're like really, really serious. It's the only thing I've stuck with, and believe me, I have other things. Like on Amazon, you can buy, there's a series of books, and you get a lot. It's like 30 or 40 bucks, but even if the price went up, you still get a lot. Because you get 9 CDs, beginner, I think intermediate and advanced, I think 3 in each category. You get a book to practice with. So like you have like little homework you do, or you can write down the stuff that, but you're only hearing it. And of course, because it's a CD, right? And I'm trying to think what it's called. Just look up like Spanish or Italian or whatever language you want to learn on Amazon. And I think it has like a black cover with yellow writing. And it's not something like, I don't even know how to explain it. It's not called speed languages or something. That's something different. That's a different company, and you have to have an email. You only get 7 free lessons, and you have to pay. So that's totally separate. But you might find it on there. And you'll notice that it's the same books, just different languages. And like I said, you get a lot, you do. But that's the only thing that's missing, is to be able to speak to something for it to listen to your pronunciation. But Duolingo, either way, whichever one you have, it doesn't let you like slack off on how you say the words, like I said. So you can't say something completely wrong and then it's like, okay, it'll just tell you no, try again. So that's what I like about it. Like, it really does push you. I know they have, what's that called, Rosetta and some other stuff. There's a gnat in here. They have Babbel. I heard Babbel's pretty good. I believe Babbel's completely free. I've never tried it, but I think for now, I'm sticking with the Duo, the Super Duo. But I am curious about Babbel, only because if I can get the same thing, if it's just lesson after lesson, if I can learn more than one language, I think the gnat's crawling on my forehead or my hair, for free, then maybe I will unsubscribe to the Super Duolingo. So I have to decide. But yes, I am now asking, if you want to be in the family group, that you pitch in $20 a year. Okay, so Like I said, unless you try something else. If you try Babbel, let me know. If it's completely free, if you try Duolingo and it's similar, then I may not even have a slot open to office. Like I said, I just might get rid of it. I really rather not pay because that money could go towards something else. And I don't even know how ahead I would be depending on the language. And then in Babbel, I don't know if you can only learn one language at a time. So maybe I'll do a little bit of research. And tomorrow, maybe I can tell you guys what I learned about Babbel. But yeah, that's the only thing that would make me get rid of my subscription to the Super Duolingo is if Babbel is so similar and it's not worth paying for the Super Duolingo. So I'll see. But first, I have to finish this walk. And we're close, you guys, we are. We're within 5 minutes, 4 minutes, and then we'll be done. And then I can get to the rest of the day. I skipped my fruit yesterday. I know, I'm fired. But I just didn't feel like cutting the stuff off the strawberries. They all look like they're bruised, and I think they said by the time they're bruised, don't eat them. And like I said, there's like 20 of them left. And they bruised pretty quickly. So either having them in the drawer with a little humidity did it, or the paper towels did it, or a combination of both. They seem to last longer when they're not in that drawer. So I was debating if I want to keep buying them. Especially, like I said, I think that's what you guys said yesterday. I was reading that it helps burn belly fat. I didn't really want to incorporate anything else into the walk that would assist with the weight loss side of it. But I want healthier eyes and healthier hair, and I'm assuming that those same fruits will help my nails, possibly, especially in the condition that they're in right now. I need it, so I'm gonna look and see what do those 3 fruits, strawberries, raspberries, and blueberries, do for your nails. And then I did notice, so the day before yesterday, I had blueberries, raspberries, like I said, no strawberries, and I got a headache. I don't know if it was because I didn't drink enough water. Yesterday, I think in the video, I didn't drink any. Which, side note, I was going to mention, so I don't remember drinking, like I said, any water yesterday on the walk. And my bottle, ow, I just hit my finger. My bottle was over halfway empty. And the bottom of it wasn't wet. The inside of the cup holder wasn't wet. When I opened it, it kind of sprayed some water up at me. But I don't remember taking any sips. And so I looked for a hole, like in the bottle. I didn't see one. If I show it to you guys, let's see. I've been tripping a lot. Like I said, this treadmill's not that wide. It's really annoying. But the wider the treadmill, the bigger treadmill, the more it costs, right? But look, you guys can see it. It's full, right? So maybe I took sips and forgot that I did. But if I did it and it leaked, what I'm probably going to do is go to my MyBook and watch the video, because I think I've already deleted it off my phone and see. But with all that water, the inside of the cup holder should have been wet. The side of the cup holder should have been wet. The wall should have been wet. So it's kind of awkward. I don't know. I always mention to you guys when weird stuff happens. But yeah, I picked it up and I looked at it and I was like, I don't remember taking any sips. But I think I told you guys, like, for the past couple of days, my mind has been somewhere else. So I'll see. And then tomorrow I can tell you guys, yeah, I watched the video, kind of fast forwarded through it, and I didn't. So how my bottle ended up half empty, I don't know. I have no clue. Um, all I know is, you guys, surprise, surprise, we were close. That last 4 minutes went by fast. I'm happy. And my hair is kind of, or a strand of hair or something. I might start putting my hair up in a bun to come out here. I hate that feeling that like something's tickling my face or something, but anyway, we're at 40 minutes, 1.26 for distance, 135 calories, and it stopped. So yeah, like I said, that super annoying squeaking is a good sign that it most likely won't stop while I'm walking on it. So kind of the trade-off. Like I said, I circulated right back around from that treadmill to this one, and same issue I was having with that one, I'm having with this one, go figure. I know you're gonna say, well, you have to oil it, but you guys, we have been oiling the treadmill. So just fair warning. I mean, you may never have a squeak at all, whether you oil it often or not, but just know at some point it might make this awful noise, and you might just oil everywhere and not be able to even figure out why is it still doing that. But with that said, I am going to see you guys tomorrow. Have a great day. Stay safe. Bye.